Hey, it's DDO Players, and we are privileged today to be speaking with Lynnabel.
What's up? Oh, I messed up.
What a way to start. This is off to a rousing start. No, that's fine. And, of course, you might recognize the name from the forums. She was... Now, I'm kind of confused. Were you an intern, or were
Oh,
you
it's
on the
complicated.
staff, or exactly how did that work? So let's start off with that. What exactly were you?
Oh my God. I was there. Okay, so my sordid tale begins in the far up year of 2016. Back in years gone by, I was an intern in a totally different department, and then they were like, "Hey, do you want to just be a developer instead?" And I went, "Okie dokie." So I was an intern in DDO for a solid 3 weeks. Then I went back to college, and then they're like, "Yeah, do you want to come intern again? You can help make you 36." And then I made the entire itemization for Ravenloft. So I was an intern. I was a systems designer, which is like the items, the crafting. Like I did crafting stuff, the events and stuff like that. I didn't put anything in the world, like or move anything around. I did move some stuff around, but I didn't like make quests and stuff like that.
Right.
I made itemization, a lot of itemization, a lot of bug fixing. But I was an intern.
So an intern slash system developer. Gotcha. So let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved with Standing Stone Games and basically in game development
Oh
slash
no.
internship,
Okay.
all of that?
Okay.
Let's go into
So
to your sordid history of game development.
okay. So it all starts very, very, very long ago. I fell in love with the game called City of Heroes, which unfortunately closed down in 2012.
Amazing game,
And
by the way.
amazing game. Best game I've ever touched in my. I love that game more than anything. So I complained so bitterly to everyone I knew that my ex, years later, who also went to the same college I did, texted me out of the blue and goes, "Hey, there's a guy doing a guest lecture for my class who used to work at the company that used to publish City of Heroes." So I did the only rational thing, which is sneaking through a window and crashed the class.
That's awesome.
And basically harassed the guy. So that man turned out to be Peter Garland of Turbine. I watched his presentation, which was about microtransactions in mobile games and like how to do economy. I don't remember anything about that. It was totally out of my area of expertise. But I walked up after him and was like, "Dude, I've been playing DDO for so long. Can I take you out for coffee? Can we just talk about stuff?" So since everyone else was just handing him interviews, and I was like, "Hey, free food," and he was like, "Yeah, okay, that makes sense." So we went and got some coffee, and we talked about a whole bunch of other stuff. He also, he likes City of Heroes, and it was pretty cool. So I talked to him about, "Hey, can I get an internship?" And so I was hired to the online operations department of Turbine at the time. And then when Saying Some Games happened, I went with DDO.
So let's talk about your history with DDO, as you said, and I know I've heard you mention before on a couple of the live streams you were on, you mentioned it, and kind of in the forums too. You are a long-time DDO player.
Yeah, yeah, I've done all the content in the game. I am almost a triple completionist. I've got 50 past lives on my main. I've been playing. My start date on my account says 2010, but I know it's been shorter than that since I took a few years off in the middle there. I'm going to say 4 years. I don't know. I don't have a timeline. I just started getting more and more into it, and then they're like, "Hey, come be a developer," and I was like, "That seems like a good excuse to get obsessed with the game."
Hey, there you
Yeah,
go.
okay.
Works for me. Don't have to twist my arm.
Yeah, it's like, I exist.
Okay, so you go to Standing Stone. You're starting to work on DDO. What's the first thing that we would know in game that you
The
worked
first
on?
thing I did, so which year? Which year? Was it the 3-week internship with no training, or was it
Sure,
the...
we'll start with that. Why not?
Okay, so it took me 6 successive, literal, actual version control check-ins to successfully change one bug, to change one string table. And it was, the buff that puts to your buff bar when you've got single weapon fighting on? It
Yes.
says, "You're single weapon fighting." It had the wrong something on it, and it took me 6 tries. But I changed that. I changed it, I think. I'm pretty sure that worked. The first thing I did this year, which had I had actual training, this year, which was astounding. It was great. I actually got to do things. Oh man, I got to the first thing people would know before was definitely the high welcome. I would say last year that was great, but this year the Fear Reaper damage over time. It says you're so afraid of dying, it's killing you. It was using the wrong "you're." It was you're so afraid of dying, not you are so afraid of dying. So I changed that. That's the first thing I changed this year.
And I think that's kind of what you're, I guess, for lack of a better term, famous for, is the Lynnabel please fix thread that people really glamored onto and posted, and you fixed a lot of that stuff, actually.
My favorite part is the suggestions that I had already fixed internally, and I could just quote them and be like, yeah, fix that. 30 seconds.
Hey, no problem. I'll fix that. Give me a second.
20-second turnaround time. Look how great that is. And meanwhile, I was there like the last weekend going, man, I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh, man. My favorite part was I rewrote all of the Fatesinger tooltips, so they're readable by humans. You can use your eye holes to determine what they do.
So, when did you sleep?
Never.
Yeah,
no.
It sounds like it.
No, I spent a lot of time just playing the game. It wasn't. I didn't take a lot of breaks during my 8 hours a day. And Fatesinger was over. So as an hourly intern, I didn't actually get like federal holidays off because I'm paid hourly. So there were a few days over the summer where everyone else was gone, and I just had 8 hours to myself. That's where a lot of the real boring stuff happened. It's not that glamorous. It's it's a lot of check boxes. It's a lot of Excel.
I bet. I can imagine. I know nothing about. I mean, I work in IT, so I'm familiar with like computers and like networking and stuff like that. But like programming is like beyond me, and I'm amazed at people that can do it. So I can't even imagine staring and looking at databases and codes like that and trying to figure out, okay, why is A not talking to B, and why is B not talking to C, and why did D break when A worked? So you know.
I remember my last I think 3 weeks before I left, I accidentally totally ruined like 3 hours of work.
Oops.
And so I just I got up and just took a walk for like 20 minutes. I was just I'm just going to walk in a big circle until this stops being terrible. I'm just going to, oh man. No, it was great. I loved every minute of it.
So, okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room now. Ravenloft, you had said you worked on itemization, and I know we're kind of on
I did all of it. I did the whole thing. Did all of Ravenloft's itemization.
Wow.
Every item, all of it, 100%.
Holy
landscape loot,
Nikes.
sentient items. Every single quest has 5 or 6 items in it. A miniature crafting system. I tweaked U36's items. I did the Red Fence update. I basically just made items. I did the Mimic Festival items. I was also one of the prices on that. I kind of feel bad because I would just picked a number. I was like, what's a good number to put an item at? 80, I don't know. Something.
Nice.
I typed that in. I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. And everyone's like, wow, you suck. And I'm like, oh no. So that was my bad. That was my fault.
So I know we're kind of on a tightrope here, but let's talk about what you can talk about, Ravenloft, because I know you're still under NDA, and I know they haven't announced a lot of this. We know some stuff. So what can you tell us about the itemization? Is there much you can tell us?
It's a lot of items. It's a lot of them. It's too many. We made a lot. We made so many that we may have to take some out. As it turns out, a lot of my ideas are functionally possible, but should never once be done ever. There were several times where I implemented something fully and then went to Stillstar, and Stillstar was like, absolutely not. No.
Oh, Steelstar, come on. Quit taking away the fun.
Oh, my God. Although, yeah, no, there's a lot of... He kept me in check. I had some pretty fantastic ideas. I made a new item that determines which monk stance you're in, which was a lot of fun, and by fun I mean frustrating and sad, because I was a big pain in the butt. I really ruined a lot of do not do's, don't make a set bonus with the duration. Don't ever do that, actually. But yeah, I made all the cool sentient weapons. The sentient system is being done by other more competent people, but the base items you're crafting onto, it's all me. So blame me, and watch out for the short sword. That's something I can say. The short sword is the single greatest thing that's ever been made, and I love it, and I actually cannot. I remember I'm sitting in Severlin's office, and Torque is there, and we're talking about something unrelated, and they're like, "So what did you want?" And I'm like, "You know how players have wanted more zany loot, right? You know, just zany, exciting things." And then I explained the item, and they're like, "I suppose," and I could not stop laughing. The entire time they're talking it over. It's great. I can't spoil it, It's great. Short sword. Keep an eye out for it. It's great.
Duly noted.
It's so great. It's so
Making
great.
a note right now. Short sword, definite must have. What? So let's talk about the Senate weapons a little bit. Is there anything you can say about them?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. See, that's what's kind of weird because I know they haven't said much, and you know things, and
they're great. Okay, I remember. Here's what I can say. So I went to a few of the sentient item meetings where they're like discussing the broad strokes and details and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, wow, that is suspiciously well designed. That is good. I can't think of a single like horrible, awful flaw to that. I like it, and that was like, I mean, it's not like it's better than your worst fears. That's for sure. I don't know. I'm a huge DDO fanboy, though.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. SSG could be like, yep, we lit the game on fire, and it fires bullets out of the disk drive. And I'm like, perfect, innovative game design. Wow, some real... Can't go wrong.
So I do know they said it's, if I understand it right, it's going to be a base weapon, and then you can sort of unquote crap the sentient part of it on there with like augments, if I understand it correctly.
It's gonna be sort of like that. I don't know what I can say.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's cool. It's gonna be cool. I really liked the design. Like I remember talking it over with Sev a lot, and I just really I like what he was going for with like the broad strokes, and I think that the implementation is settled on like when I was last there. Because things could definitely change. It seemed elegant almost. It was nice. It wasn't like worrying in any way. Speaking as a player, not a developer.
Well, that's good. See, and that's kind of cool that you're, I think, as much of well, I guess all the devs are players, but you kind of had the I was a player first mentality, and then I was a dev. So I think you kind of have a different viewpoint on it, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe, I just don't see the devs in that light.
The problem is that quite a lot of the people that are iconic on the DDO dev team, like the ones that everyone throws their names around a lot, they have been a developer for as long as the game has been around. So there was never a chance for them to spend years and years and years mastering it. They were always making it. They were always there.
Can you talk about? It's kind of hard to come up with questions. I know there's
Strahd a cape.
That's
Strahd a cape. He's got a cape. He's got a cape. Cape confirmed. Oh my god.
That's what I was going to ask you because
biggest weight off my chest. He's got a cape. It capes around. It capes so hard. Oh my god.
So let's talk about that on the 150th episode of the DDO Players News podcast. If you didn't listen to it yet and haven't seen the post I put up over on the site, we had Cordoban on, and he brought with him the first look at Strahd. And in the one picture, yes, Strahd has a cape. So explain to me how that's going to work, because there's no capes in DDO.
There's no capes in DDO. There's no capes. It's capes. Oh my god. So this doesn't confirm anything about anything else, but yes, the Strahd model has a cape. It's a hand-animated, very beautifully done. The same person who animated Aesmar, who, if you guys didn't know, has totally unique animations for, like, the majority of their things. Like, I don't know if you noticed that. Like, they carry their bows, like, horizontally, and their greatswords over their shoulder.
That I noticed on the Mania, because when I noticed the bow thing, I was like, holy crap, that's awesome.
I know. There's an actual animator. It's fantastic. But no, he's great. I actually spent a surprising amount of time with prop weapons with that animator, just discussing options. So I'm going to take credit for all of Aesmar. That's mine, too, now. That's right. I made all of Ravenloft and all of Aesmar. I cured world hunger.
So what was the internal discussion on the whole Strahd cape thing? Because I'm sure that was some interesting times.
I believe what it was we got to make Strahd look cool. And someone goes, hey, should we give him a cape? And we're like, yeah, okay. And then we made a cape. It's not a very interesting story now that I think about it. It's just kind of happened.
Well, it kind of is because, capes in DDO. That's like, what the heck is going on? My world is now askew.
I mean, it's not indicative of anything. It's just it's cool, and right, I appreciate that the tech is there, at least for that particular model. Like, models in DDO you can't really easily transfer stuff from one to the other, not without a lot of legwork. And something so meticulous and so prominent as a cape, just putting it on a monster doesn't mean, hey, capes are a thing now. So don't get your hopes up.
I just can't believe that there's like an animator, a poor animator sitting there having to animate a cape. for Strahd.
I mean,
That was their job. Make this cape, make it animated, go.
no, I really like everything that guy has done. He's like his work with ASMR is fantastic. I love they carry their shields differently, and they just look so great. And especially the newest version of them with like you can make the metallic skin different colors.
Yes.
They look awesome. They look awesome. Just some really, really, really high quality art coming out of the studio. I'm really happy to see it. The Ravenloft's going to be great. That's all I got.
Yeah, I can't wait. Of course, I've been waiting for Ravenloft forever, as everybody knows. They did announce that the Night Rebels was coming back, and we have one new Night Rebels dungeon. Did I understand it right that you did the items for the Night Rebels as well? No.
No,
okay.
that was a surprise. That came out of nowhere. I believe I said out loud, "Steel Star, you absolute madman," but that may have been in response to something else. Because Steel Star is a madman. It should be stopped. We need to stop Steel Star.
Yeah. Is he the one that we can blame for the new Night Rebels dungeon?
No, that is El Dorado. I know that for a fact. I was actually at a LARP with the dev team, and they were talking about it, and I've had to just not talk about it, which is the story of my DDO
yeah,
career.
Exactly. And good on you. I don't know how. Well, actually, I do, because there's a lot of the times when, not for DDO, let me make that clear, but as you know, on the site, we do tabletop game coverage and stuff, and there's a lot of the times I will get press releases and stuff for things that I'm under embargo that I can't talk about, and sometimes it's like a week or something, and that's hard for me, so I can't imagine for you knowing as much about, say, Ravenloft, and you can't talk about. So I'm impressed that you can keep quiet, because it's hard for me to go a week sometimes talking about some things that I know about things, and then I can't talk about, and you're like, well, I know about this and this and this, but
here's what's really gonna bake your noodle. I saw the Vistani animations over a year ago, my last summer.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Really.
I mean, I knew they have been working on Ravenloft forever, because they announced it a long time ago. But I guess I never thought about it's been that long, and working and stuff. So
well, get ready for greatness, I think. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm extremely pumped. I am at this point kind of out of the loop, though. A lot changes during development, and I've seen that firsthand.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Do you have plans to go back to?
Ooh, can't answer that. I have no idea.
Okay.
Gotcha.
The
studio doesn't work that far ahead, or the entire industry doesn't. There's no way to know. Like any game studio at all. There's the whole industry doesn't plan. Like there's no guarantee for anything. I don't know. Like a meteor could hit the studio like tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
Definitely no. I think it would be. I mean, it's obvious to say that I would like to go back, but I don't want to paint them into a corner of being like, "Hey, hire me." It's like
well, yeah.
Weird. I don't want to do that.
So, what exactly are you going to school for? Are you going to school for game design? Or?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No. Network engineering and applied systems administration, with a minor in creative writing for some reason. I don't know what that's about.
So, how did the whole game dev thing come about then?
Well, I snuck him through a window.
Can I say that's basically where it started, and then you just kind of like, yeah, I'll do this. Why not?
Yeah, why not? It's been, my college actually is one of the best in the country. It's a game design program. And so people are like, oh, you worked at a real game studio, like as a real developer, and you've got some really minor low-key internet fame, and, that's really neat. You a game design major? And I'm like, oh, goodness gracious, no. And they're like, what?
Well, yeah, so I am. I just assumed you were a game design major. So, wow,
oh, no.
You have blew my mind twice now.
I don't know how to design games. I don't know. I've been picking numbers at random. You saw what happened at the Mimic Festival. That was all me, okay? That's my game design skills coming in hot.
Something else you're taking credit for. I did the Mimic.
Oh, God. I just, picked a number. I was like, what seems like a reasonably high number? 80. And, I got one item, which seems reasonable, but, I'm happy it's coming back, and maybe some developer, some kind developer will go in and maybe make that 40, maybe 45. That would seems pretty reasonable. I know, as per the forums today, Steelstar is reducing the costs of Night Rebels stuff.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Well, how dare you not pick up news that was made 25 minutes ago.
I know. Geez, see,
Yeah.
see, I was too busy making a video on the new Night Rebels, and see now the video I made is wrong because apparently the prices are going to be wrong. But I did state that it was Lamania, so prices could change. So I covered myself.
That's good. That's the real game designer way of saying these are the facts, but they might not be the facts. This could be the wrong facts. This facts could be incorrect.
Everything we're telling you, just forget what you're seeing because it's probably going to be different.
I'm just happy that the whole I got to see behind the curtain. It's fascinating in there.
I bet. I can't imagine. I would love just for one day just to be able to just set in and just soak all of it in just to see, how the hot dog is made, as they say.
Well, what surprised me at first, and I guess it's it's kind of a snide thing to say, but what surprised me was how much the entire team cares about DDO. And like all of the chatter, DDO, DDO, DDO. How do we make DDO better? How do we make the players happier? How do we listen to player feedback in a way that's achievable? And it's all people. They really genuinely actually care about the game more than anything. And it was fantastic just being there. And I feel like, I don't know, I've been told it's a lot quieter in the office now that I'm gone. I don't know if that was an insult or not, but I'm going to take that as a compliment. Whether or not
you could probably take that both ways, but I would say compliment, yeah.
Yeah. Still gets a lot more done now that I'm not bothering him every 6.5 minutes.
I just, like I said, one day I would love just to be able to just sit and just watch, soak it all up.
It's a lot of, it's fun. There's a lot of things I would do differently if I had the knowledge I did at the end of the summer at the very beginning. I would have budgeted my time better. I'm happy I got a lot of the little stuff done, but I feel like I could have made some real significant changes. Honestly, I really trust the team to deliver.
So give me just the funniest story you can think of that happened while working at SSG.
Okay, the time I beat up Steel Star is a good one.
Yes, let's talk about the time you beat up Steel Star.
Beat him up several times. That's actually not a very funny story. No, I started LARPing this summer, and I actually went to my first event with some members of the team a few weeks ago, and it was fantastic. But the first combat event I went to, they were like handed me a foam sword. Steel was like, okay, now just like hit me, but like as light as you possibly can. So I like smack him. And that was cool. But then in some of the larger combat events, we were like, it was just basically like we'd like peeled off from the larger event and we're just like fighting, and I kicked his butt. So now I can say I've totally beaten up Steel Star, and it's great. There was the time that I had to explain the short sword to him. That was great. There's the case of the mysterious disappearing player script. Oh my god, that story still pisses me off. So what I really wanted more than anything was. This is a bit of a Ravenloft spoiler. I can totally talk about it. So there's an item in Ravenloft, one of the items that is made out of ice. It's an ice weapon that's been carved out of ice. And what I wanted was, while it's in your hands, you know when it's raining in DDO, you have like the mist breath?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play that, but I don't want to play the same script key twice on the player, because that means if they're in rain and they're holding a bow, that it's playing twice and it looks stupid. So I'm like, okay. So, we're going to think about this. Rather than putting the effects on, it's just going to say like, okay, if you're holding the bow, then it is raining or something. And it totally worked, and I checked it in, and the next day it totally didn't work, and I think it's still broken. And I'm just really hoping I just hope somebody steps in and fixes my ice weapon, because I put so much work and tears into it, and it just I had to leave, man. I finished up. I made more. Like my last day, the last thing I did was make a warlock specific item, and then maybe some more remnant stuff. I think I de-broke the things I broke in the Ravenloft treasure tables. I also set the drop rates for Ravenloft, so it's me. It was me. I did it.
So you're the one I can blame when I don't get
Yes.
drops in Ravenloft.
Yes.
Okay, I will remember that.
Yes, please do. Please blame me and not Standing Stone Games. It's my clever ruse. See, that way they leave the dev team alone.
Hey, there you go.
After someone is unrelated.
I like it. You're like, you know what? I can't do anything about it. I don't work there anymore, so there.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? I cannot believe it still doesn't work, and I'm like, I hope someone has time to look at it. But at the pace that everyone was working, I understand why they can't like dedicate a day to go. This ice weapon ain't doing the ice breath, which is like so small compared to the rest of it. I don't know. I've taken up too much of your time. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. This is like fascinating, actually. I just do have a couple more questions for you. Looking back at everything you did at Standing Stone Games, and for DDO, what do you think you're most proud of?
Oh, short sword from Ravenloft. Easy the short sword. I can't even explain. Oh my god. So the code to make it work has been in the game for 11 years. I'm the first one to actually use it. I'm the first one. It's me.
I cannot wait to find about the short sword now.
It's perfect. It's like, if you're looking for a good item, look someplace else. If you're looking for the best item in the game, it's the best item in the game. It's perfect. It's so me.
Oh, I am so excited about the short sword now.
There's also a warlock necklace that I made that was really cool, and it took a lot of time. But depending on the pact you're in, it does different things. And if you're not a warlock, it gets very upset.
See, that's the whole point of a sentient weapon, which is awesome. It sounds like, just from the little bit you saying, they got sentient weapons right, which is going to be amazing.
I really hope so. If the sentient weapon short sword, though, boy, look out! I can't say that enough. Look out for that short sword. Just brace yourself. Make sure you're sitting down.
Oh, that's awesome! I cannot wait. And then I think the most important question of all: chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin?
Oh, chocolate chip for sure. Oatmeal raisin sucks. I'm taking a stance. Oatmeal raisin has always been a disappointment.
You answered correctly, so you passed.
That's right. That's correct.
All right. Well, thanks for taking time today, and we can't wait to see, of course, Ravenloft and the short sword, apparently, which I am totally going to get now, just because of how much you have hyped it.
It's terrible. It's so perfect.
It's terrible, but in a good way.
Yeah, you can say that, I think. But yes, I thank you for having me on. I always like talking about DDO. In fact, it's almost impossible to get me to stop.